Hello, everybody, and welcome to the seasonal Weebcast, which is coming to you like a month late for a couple reasons. Firstly, the last new show of the season aired like on the 25th or 23rd or whatever of January. And secondly, a bunch of life stuff happened, some of which you may have seen on Twitter that kept pushing stuff forward. So we are now recording about halfway through the season. So this is no longer a first impressions Weebcast, but rather like a halfway checkpoint Weebcast for some shows and first impressions for others. I'm joined today by my two lovely co-hosts, Bryant, a.k.a. Explanation Point.
I'm here again.
He's back. And John, a.k.a. BaronJ.
What up? How we
Team
doing?
Kentucky boys.
Kentucky boys.
This was completely by accident, but I got two boys from Kentucky.
I can go outside and throw a rock at Brian's house. He's over there.
You throw a rock at my house, I'm gonna get my shotgun.
Oh, boy, I tell you what.
Tarnation.
Oh, boy. You guys are now contractually obligated to keep that up for the entirety of this podcast.
All right.
I signed not a damn thing. That will not happen.
All right. So let's get right into it and start talking about all of the new shows this season, because there's a lot of like good ones that I think we're gonna want to spend a lot of time on. So let's kick things off by talking about the most forgettable, least interesting, and just least anything anime that I have seen in a long ass time, Beatless.
God damn.
I mean, I gotta say that there ain't much to talk about when it comes to Beatless.
Yep. It's,
I can't nail down what the hell the show is trying to be. Is it a harem, or is it like a fucking shonen battle with girls, or what is it supposed to be?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That
yes.
doesn't help me.
You did it.
It's like a battle royale with toaster girls. Mm-hmm. That's it. We haven't had a good toaster girl anime in a while, so now they're doing a toaster girl anime.
I mean, you're selling it to me, Jeff.
I would kill for that to happen on like one of the episodes where it's like, no, you see, I actually do love you as a human being, and she's like, I love you too, ding, and just like toast pops out of her head.
I you know what? I think that we can all agree that Beatless would be infinitely better if
it didn't exist.
No, I was gonna say Beatless would be infinitely better if instead of the toaster girls we have, it was just like Aigis from Persona and Nano from Nichijou in like a big harem around the main character.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
Man.
But like the problem with this is that they're fucking boring toaster girls. You know?
Yeah, God, yeah. It's
I like
no personality.
I can remember things about shows that I watched at the very beginning of this season that I haven't come back to, but I am literally like drawing a blank on half of this. All I remember is that there was something about like the meme complex in the first episode.
Yeah, the meme frame.
Meme frame, that was it. Yeah. So
I forgot about that.
The evil robot girls hacked the meme frame, and there's like
download all
flower
the
petals
rarest
that are
peppies.
actually flower petals that are actually nanomachines, son.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, it's just boring. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Like,
Nobody's watching
Actually,
Beatless.
something that they have actually innovated here. Now, if she's late to school, she can actually toast the bread inside her on the way.
Oh, man.
That is pretty innovative.
It's weird because there are like 3, maybe 4 battle royale shows. There's this, Killing Bites, Sanrio Danshi, and maybe the new Fate one.
Wait, Sanrio Danshi is a battle royale?
Duh. And somehow they all managed to be worse than Juni Tyson.
The first casualty in Sanrio Danshi was the fucking grandma, man. Didn't you
Yeah,
see
keep up,
that?
Jeff.
I'm not keeping up with the Sanrio Danshi memes.
It's not really a meme. The show is just bad.
It's not bad. Anyway, let's
all
move
right,
on to something good.
Yeah, so we're not going to talk about it explicitly on the Weebcast, but I just want to say Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card Hen is the shit. I'm really glad that they're continuing the series like a decade later, even if it is kind of really fucking weird that they all have smartphones when it was at the beginning of the first Cardcaptor series. It was explicitly like a really big deal that Sakura had a cell phone at all. So that's just something I've noticed. But yeah, Cardcaptor Sakura. Are you guys watching it?
I watched the first episode. Cardcaptor Sakura was my shit when I was like a little kid. But I don't remember enough about it now to get excited about Clear Card Hen. So
you should binge watch the old series. That's what I'm doing right now.
Fair enough.
But
there's so much good stuff this season to watch.
There is. Speaking of stuff this season, let's move on to the next show of the season, Citrus, which is a show that involves lesbians.
Now we're in my territory now, boys.
And incest.
No.
And sexual assault.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe not so much that last one.
Yeah, that's like the most uncomfortable thing about this show is it's very, very, very rapey.
It does the usual homosexual romance thing in anime where one of the characters rapes the other one until they like it.
Yep, that's the trope. Is like you NTR either all men or all women from this hot bishi boy or gal or whatever forever. And it's yeah, I don't entirely know why there's always rape scenes in Shoujo Ai and Shonen Ai stories. It's kind of uncomfortable.
I'm sure there's like a cultural reason behind that. Like, we could probably talk to Pedro about it, because yeah.
He would probably have some expertise to chime in on that.
Yeah, like they're the ones who know all the like anime history stuff. So
my sort of theory towards it is basically like it's seen as abnormal, and maybe not so much seen as something that you're born with, but like a choice that you make. So they like you're forced into it, and you're like, oh, I like this. But yeah, it's all kinds of uncomfortable. On the flip side, I guess if you're not bothered by this is a Yuri series where they kiss in the first episode. So if you're like here for the porn, this is definitely good for that.
If you're here for the porn, there's a literal porn on Mal's anime chart. It's like the first one when you sort by title.
There you go.
Although that is a slightly different porn.
Yeah, that's a straight porn.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to see hot girls kissing each other, Citrus is a show. Like, literally, I haven't even been doing plot descriptions for these because Beatless is nothing. Cardcaptor, the plot is literally the title. She's got to capture some cards. And Citrus is like, it's your standard Yuri romance show, except they're sisters.
Yeah. But they're not.
Yeah.
Because of course they aren't.
Disappointingly, not actually about lemons.
Stepsisters, yeah. Yeah, they're stepsisters, which means that's totally whatever.
Like,
it's like when they're not sexually assaulting the characters, it can be enjoyable. I like the main character's like personality.
There are things to like about it, yeah. Like, there's a reason I gave it 2 episodes instead of just dropping it. Because like a lot of the directorial shit that got done was like decent and like on the lower side of good even.
Yeah.
I was definitely willing to give it a shot. I didn't expect much and it delivered.
I do really like the OP. The OP is really good.
Well, every OP is good this season.
Almost every OP.
OP.
I mean, that's as good a transition as any to talk about Dame Pri.
Yeah.
Or Dame X Prince. A lame... I think it's a visual novel show. Yeah, it's a visual novel show.
I heard the word lame in there, Jeff. I swear, if you down-talk Dame X Prince on the Weebcast, we are gonna have words.
Is this
my
the
King's game
line in the sand that you're drawing? Okay, so I've only watched the first episode, and I liked the bit where the prince was like, "Here, have a painting of me." That was about it. I thought like the ridiculous over the top personalities were fun. But I was bored to fucking tears because it's like, it's just a visual novel adaptation.
Oh, yeah. No, there's nothing special about this show. It's just that, like, Annie is just an adorable, like, pure little creature. And all of the princes are just perfectly shippable with her. I don't know. It's very fun to watch.
Yeah, I guess.
For me, personally.
I wouldn't. Yeah. You've got your unique tastes. But,
I mean, I would definitely say it deserves its 6.2 on Mal.
King's Game. Yeah, like you said, this is your King's Game. King's Game's enjoyable because it's like so bad that it's good.
Yes, but that's not why I enjoyed it.
I know it's not.
No, I just liked
it's
it.
Not. I like, for me, King's Game was like a 10 out of 10 comedy when it's like, oh no, I've knocked him out. Girlfriend, you'd better rape my best friend to save his life. Like, that's comic gold.
Yeah, I mean, you're over here laughing your ass off, but I've got my giant tub of popcorn like, oh my god, she's got to rape his best friend to save his life.
or just the fucking guy is like, I've got to send this email. Oh shit, my hand exploded.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god, he exploded. I liked him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I oh man, that peaked super hard.
Yeah.
It sounded like it did.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I totally understand like why you enjoy these shows, or maybe I don't understand, but you're allowed to.
You don't
enjoy
have
these
to understand,
shows.
Jeff. I know
I've
how
got
bad they
shows-
are. I'm not saying that they're masterpieces.
So this is one that does need its plot explained, though. So can you quickly explain for us what Dame X Prince or Dame X Prince or whatever the fuck it's...
All right,
Anime
everybody.
Caravan.
Buckle up. So Dame X Prince Anime Caravan is the story of the young princess of a country that's situated in between two much larger and more powerful countries. Inako is her country, then there's Milladonia and the other one. So basically her job is to go around talking to the princes of these two other countries saying, hey, don't invade us, please. And then hijinks ensue because everybody in this show is a trope turned up to like 15. And it's beautiful and everyone's adorable and great and I love it. Also, there's a flying like pink marshmallow thing that's come to life that everybody thought was a griffin, but it turns out it's not.
Huh.
And everybody thought it was going to ruin the show, but it turned out it didn't, because how could you?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you could do to make the show worse. Was anybody actually, like, talking about it and being like, oh no, this is the point where I get off the Anime Caravan. I'm done.
I mean, it was almost the point where I got off. I was like, oh god, people are going to take that out of context. But no, it was almost the point where I got off the anime train.
Do the under 9,000 of you who are currently watching this show talk to each other about it at all?
I talked to Evan and Mariah about it. Because like, I've got my own little echo chamber of people who like Dame X Prince.
I mean, that's about a quarter of the audience, so, you know, you're representing at least. All right, let's move on to something that I think everybody here can agree is pretty fucking good. Darling in the Franxx.
Everybody?
Everybody.
You
if
think
you
so?
Don't think... You better fucking... If the one anime that you like with X in the title is Dame X Prince, you're banned from the Weebcast forever, man.
I don't think you could ever ban me at this point, Jeff. I'm an institution.
2 episodes. Institution. I mean, 2 episodes is like half of the content we put out here, but whatever.
But that doesn't
right,
answer the question. Do you actually like it or no?
I'm unsure of how to feel about it. Like, it's obviously doing some things very right, but I feel like the one thing that it's not doing as well as it should be is also the one thing that it needs to be doing really well. That's getting across what its point is.
I'm getting my rock. I'm throwing it at your house.
I mean, fine, do it. Do it. I will get the kernel.
I don't get the
And this is how the greatest feud in Kentucky history started.
Second greatest. Remember, we had that other one.
The robots with the ass. Get back here, boy.
But yeah, so Darling in the Franxx, if you guys aren't familiar somehow, that's spelt Franks with 2 X's. Don't worry about it. Darling in the Franxx is about like this dystopian future where people live in moving semi-underground cities called plantations, and there's these monsters called Klaxosaurs that eat the lava or the magma energy that society thrives on. And the main characters have to stop the Klaxosaurs by fucking inside giant robots.
Yep.
I think that basically sums it up. Also, the giant robots are big waifus made by the guy who did the robot designs for Star Driver. Yeah, that's it. That's what this show is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think of Darling in the Franxx?
I would
go
let
ahead,
her
John.
sit on me.
O2?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I mean, that's pretty
Strelitzia?
much, no. Well,
No,
actually, that's,
Strelitzia's the robot.
Yeah, I know.
hang on. I
I'd
would
let
like
her
to
sit on
change
me,
my
too.
answer. Both of them.
Same.
Yeah. The robots in this are pretty fine.
Yeah.
Beatless should take some notes as to how to make robots look cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, Darling in the like
I will say,
I think that
my one complaint, and Garnt actually brought this up in his seasonal thing, and I totally agree with him, is it's missing Sawano. I keep hearing it in my head before anything actually happens in the show, and I'm just like, here it is. Man. It's just so disappointing.
I just feel like it's obviously a show about sex. It has a lot of stuff that it wants to say about sex. I just feel like it hasn't said any of it, if that makes sense.
I guess kinda. It's definitely taking a while to like push through a lot of its metaphors. But I mean, what I'm getting from it is like a satire, like a Shimoneta-esque satire about Japanese society, except like a little more veiled than Shimoneta is. Because you've got like this, this class of older people who are just putting all of this pressure on the younger generation to keep them alive, or to keep society alive by fucking without telling them anything about it. And I don't know. It's the metaphor is allowed to be drawn out because it's a 24 episode series.
Fair.
And they're allowed to
I
take
keep
their
forgetting
time
that.
It's
and what they need to
24?
say. Yeah. They
I thought
got
it was
that
13. Holy
A1
shit.
Pictures money going.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense, actually.
I'm really enjoying the hell out of this. Like, the Imaishi action cuts are fucking insane.
Oh, God, yeah.
And like every episode they do like a tracking shot through an entirely hand-drawn background. I don't know how much that's costing them, but it's always impressive to see like a hand-drawn background move instead of using CGI.
It's really important to note, I did not notice that until you tweeted it out and pointed that out. I was like, oh my God, he's right. It's in every single one.
Because they make it seamless, and there's like lots of little world building details that are really cool. I think this is super well directed. It's kind of making me want to go watch The Idolmaster, because like I expected nothing of this from the director's standpoint. I was hyped for it because Trigger kind of automatically generates a bit of hype when they do a mecha show.
Yeah.
And I like A1 Pictures. Some people have this perspective that I don't. But like I like A1 Pictures. I like it when they go out there and do crazy original anime, because I think that when they do original shows, like 9 times out of 10 they do it better than almost anybody else. Anohana was like,
Oh God, yeah.
Here, Mario Kata, go fucking nuts. And World Conquest Zvezda plot. And it's nice that finally people are hyped about one of their original shows. Darling in the Franxx is just really fucking good. I'm enjoying it.
For sure, man.
I do see what like you and Garnt mean about like the lack of Sawano. The music isn't the best. And the I don't know. I can also see what you mean about it taking a while to get to what it's saying. But like for these teen angst metaphorized through giant robots series, like I think it's so far been up there with Eureka 7, Evangelion, and Gurren Lagann in like the upper echelons of how to do this subgenre right.
For sure.
So here's the one that's probably the sword I'm gonna die on. Next up is Death March to a Parallel World Rhapsody, or Death March
God.
Kara Hajimaru Isekai Kyosokyoku, which I was surprised to find myself really enjoying, despite my general sickness with Isekai.
I thought it was interesting the way they did the whole like they're representing the like the GUI interface in the show, and I was like, oh, that's neat. None of them had tried to really do that, but at the same time, it's just kind of
Except this one's brain activated, which
it
is how
suck.
it should be. But yeah, no, that's really interesting. I just like the idea of like you don't necessarily know if it's a dream or not, because this is the kind of thing that like a programmer on like his last days of crunch on 2 MMOs simultaneously would have a fever dream about, going into his world and being stuck there. It's just I'm enjoying it. I don't think it's like high art or anything. But yeah, so yeah, the basic premise of Death March is this 29-year-old programmer named Suzuki Ichiro finds himself transported to a fantasy RPG. Within the game, he's a 15-year-old named Sato. At first, he thinks he's dreaming, but his experiences seem very real. But I mean, even though he's like, oh, I'm not dreaming, he could super duper be dreaming and it wouldn't make a difference, because I'm enjoying the like programmatic logic and like laid back adventures through the world thing. Yeah. What are you guys thinking of it so far?
I like the fact that he's dealing with his own like bugs in the game, stuff that he's like supposed to have ironed out, and he's kind of exploiting that. Like the first episode, he runs into that group of people, and then he uses the starter items that he's like, no self-righteous gamer in their right mind would actually use these, but he's like, I'm going to die, so I'm going to use this right now, and then he levels up to 1 billion. I think that makes more sense than, let's say, here's your SAO reference, Kirito suddenly becoming level 70 episode 3 for no fucking reason whatsoever. I think it makes a lot more sense.
He's been grinding a lot.
Yeah.
No, it's I do like that justification. Like, he literally built the game poorly and his own bad design decision helps him. That's cool. It's a fun show. It's not like anything to super write home about, I don't think. I did recommend watching it on my recommendations for the season list, but yeah, it's another isekai story. I think it's better than In Another World with My Smartphone, which went for the similar
Jesus God.
Is that a high bar?
No, it's not a high bar, but like that's the only other slice of lifey isekai story that I can think of. And this is substantially better than that.
All right.
I would say it's substantially better than SAO too. But, you know, that's a personal opinion. I'd say it's only a little bit worse than Overlord, which is... That's a high bar. Overlord's a high bar. So... All right, let's move on to Fate Extra Last Encore, the show that forced me to delay this, because it came out on January fucking 28th. Like, if not for that, I probably would have recorded the Weebcast before we went on vacation. But, yep. Fate Extra Last Encore. What do you guys think?
I didn't watch it because we never talk about sequels or continuations on this thing, so I didn't know I had to.
And John?
I didn't watch it because I'm a lazy asshole.
Okay.
What's it like, Jeff?
Tell us, Jeff, with your informed opinion.
All right, so technically we don't do sequels on here, but at the same time, all of the Fate things are spin-offs. So I feel like when they start like a new timeline and it's a jumping on point, it's an acceptable thing to talk about on the Weebcast, which is why I held off on it. Fate Extra Last Encore is Shaft doing Fate. There are, like, it's set in this high school that's virtual reality on the moon, and people have their souls broadcast up there to stop the Holy Grail War or something. I watched one episode. There's 3 out right now. And I mean, technically there's none out right now because it's a Netflix show.
Hey-o.
So woo-hoo, let's wait another. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. Like, it's very Shafty, if you know what I mean. It's like Shaft to the walls, in all directions. Weird, trippy editing, weird animation choices, and it just feels like a Shaft show, which is, I think, what everybody was hoping for from a Fate thing made by Shaft. Because it still feels like Fate. There's still a battle royale happening, except it's in virtual reality, and there's some characters from Fate who are back, and there's some who aren't, and you know, it's a death game. They're fighting each other to get the Holy Grail or whatever. It's Fate. You know what Fate is.
It's just Fate, man. It's
let's
Fate.
go on to something that I can
Now
get
for something
really
completely different.
Yes, very different. I mean, if this turned into a death game, I don't think I'd complain. Gakuen Babysitters.
Babies fighting to the death for the holy bottle.
John, describe this series, because you haven't described the show yet.
Anime babies. It's anime babies. They have a club where they do babysitting for anime babies.
Anime boys with babies.
Oh, that's an important distinction, actually. Yes, it's boys raising children.
Handsome boys.
Handsome boys.
Yeah. One ook and one seam. Together at last. I know that's not how it's pronounced. I'm being silly. None of you laughed.
Ha.
Thanks. Yeah. So when Yazzie watched this, she can't be here, by the way, because she's got to take care of some business stuff today. In case anybody was wondering, when Yazzie watched this, she was convinced it was a yaoi show. I was a little bit glad it wasn't, because I think obvious reasons, anything involving babies probably shouldn't go into those tropes.
I don't know.
But,
I mean, like, a show where 2 guys meet, like, and share their mutual love of children. I don't know. I can see that being really cute.
I can see that being really cute, although the way that you phrased it...
I'm aware of how I phrased it, Jeff.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I also wasn't going to say anything, except for what I said that I can't take back. That is now on the internet.
It's now on the internet forever. I am so sorry, Brian.
Isn't that like 2 things I've said now?
At least, but I mean, I said bad stuff about Land of the Lustrous 2 seasons ago, and that's still fucking haunting me. So
yeah,
whatever. Gakuen Babysitters is really cute. So to expand upon that premise, there's these 2 brothers. Their mom's killed. Their mom and dad are killed in the plane crash.
I love the first line of the description of this on Mal. This cute Gakuen Babysitter show, like, after their parents are killed in a plane crash. These babies have to fend for themselves.
I think it would be a good battle royale show, honestly.
I mean, like, the more you say it, the more I agree.
Yeah, they got all the personalities there. Just like, make it like fucking Boss Baby meets Fate. Everybody's got their own like baby servant that does the fighting for them. Just, I don't know where the fuck I'm going with this, honestly. So yeah, they get
like,
adopted.
It's like Zatch Bell, except the babies are real.
They get adopted by this old lady who runs a school, and she's like, "Hey, you're going to be the babysitter at our school daycare during off-class hours." And the guy's like, "Okay," and his little brother is okay with it too, because his little brother's like 5.
Much younger than 5.
Oh yeah, they're like 4. Anyway, the babies are really cute. It's like a cute little show about handsome anime boys taking care of toddlers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got like a nice emotional undercurrent to it. With them dealing with the loss of their parents and like learning to grieve over time. But it's, you know, it's a good show. It's a good show.
Yeah.
Did either of you guys have anything that you liked about it or disliked?
I mean, none of the boys are blonde, so Evan refuses to watch it. But I don't know, if you like cute boys like doing feminine things, it's your kind of show.
Yeah, I mean that's like a whole genre of shoujo.
And it's a great shoujo show. Mojo shoujo show. Thank you. Good night.
Oh no.
This is the worst Weebcast. Okay, so next up is GD Men, which none of us watched, which is a sequel to GD Fairies, which also nobody watched. So that's, or a spin-off, I guess.
How dare you assume that I did not watch? I didn't watch the show. You're right. Continue.
Gin no Guardian got a second season somehow. That's not something we're talking about. I'm just fucking like pointing it out because I hate this fucking show so much. It's just so bad. All of the Howliner shows are really fucking bad. Anyway, let's move on to something that did come out this season. There's a lot of 24-episode series this season, surprisingly.
This one's 24 episodes?
Yeah,
Jesus.
Grand Crest Senki, which is a light novel adaptation that feels like a gacha game adaptation.
Yep.
There's this world, there's demons in it sometimes, and everybody's got these collectible seals that give them extra power. And when you collect seals, you can also collect unique witches and wizards in sexy outfits who fight for you like Pokemon, but it's not Pokemon, and it's not a gacha game. I swear it's not a gacha game. No matter how much they've got like plot elements that specifically seem designed for one. Yeah, this is just a generic fantasy anime.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much.
Yeah.
Normally the Weebcast is all front loaded with the interesting stuff, and it's all boring towards the last half. But I feel like this one's just gonna ramp up in interest because we're like almost past the shit that nobody cares about. And like we've already had a couple good. I mean, Darling in the Franxx is a good one to start off on, but like. Yeah, we're getting into the real meaty, interesting shit from here on out, and Grand Crest Senki is not that.
No.
I would say this one's like if you watched Grand Blue Fantasy, and somehow that was not enough generic fantasy for you, and you want something from the same studio that's worse. This is a show.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens.
Oh my god.
Which is, you want to talk about it, John?
It's a fucking mess. It's a mess. I don't know. Okay, so God, it's just difficult to wrap my fucking head around. There's a company in a particular section of Japan that is Red Rum Inc. I wonder what that is backwards. They employ hitmen and they basically do professional killing. But then there's a guy that's like not a killer. He gets employed on a job that he has to go kill somebody, and he's super psyched about it because it's like his first job or whatever. But then he finds out that there's other people also assigned to the job or some shit, and then there's like 15 ancillary back characters that don't need to fucking be there.
Well,
it was frustrating.
I'll tell you right now that your point that it's confusing is definitely being strengthened by the fact that that businessman guy you were talking about who works for Red Rum Inc. isn't the main character and is in fact the side story.
It's so I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am, and I'm lost.
So I actually am quite enjoying this show. For exactly the same reason that you're not, which is that it's fucking balls to the wall crazy. It feels
I didn't say I wasn't enjoying it. I just said it was a mess.
I don't know if I necessarily say it's even a mess, because I'm following everything that's happening. It just feels like one of those lots of crazy shit happening in different places all at once stories like Bakano or Do Ra Ra Ra.
I was gonna say it's discount da 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 da. That's the thing that was gonna come out of my mouth next.
Yeah. And I think that's a fair way of putting it. So it's Do Ra 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 except with hitmen instead of mystical creatures. And they're running around in Fukuoka instead of another ward of, or in Hakata, Fukuoka instead of Tokyo. So that's different. But yeah, so the whole thing is that almost everybody in this city is a hitman, or 3% of the city is hitmen. And it's sort of like a 50% serious-ish Tarantino-esque people murdering other people action series, and 50% bizarre comedy of errors with a bunch of different hitmen showing up to one guy's place at once and awkwardly mistaking each other for the target. And that sort of weird comedic situation. I'm enjoying it on a level of this is a fun action comedy with a goofy setting. It is kind of messy. It is kind of very messy. But I don't know. I like the quirky cast of characters and the constant casual murders.
Casual murders.
Yeah. I love the concept of just a timid salaryman who is an assassin.
It's interesting.
Have you gotten to the point where they reveal that guy's backstory?
No, actually, I haven't watched that part yet.
He used to be a rising high school baseball star, but then he decided to become an assassin after one of his pitches killed the batter.
Okay. That escalated quickly.
He brained him in the head with the ball and it killed him. Or it might have been the catcher. Either way. So he killed someone playing baseball and he's like, I guess I'd better be a professional murderer now. And I don't know. I love that there's a very Japanese corporate culture around all of these assassination agencies and
that for sure is very interesting. I like that aspect of it for sure.
Hitmen who exchange business cards with each other is such a neato concept. And the characters are so crazy and over the top. I don't know. I am enjoying it a lot. I'm enjoying the next show quite a lot too. Hakume to Mikochi, which is a slice of life show about two fairy girls who live in a forest in a tiny house in the forest.
It's fucking
it's so
cute.
Small.
So small.
It is literally the smallest show of the season. And one of the best animated too. It is gorgeous.
It's pretty as shit.
This is one of those High Dive exclusive deals, which they picked a good one to have exclusive to them.
Yeah, I would say so.
So people have said that we don't have enough contrary opinions on the Weebcast, so I will just play devil's advocate because I'm sure there are some people who don't like this
and say I don't have enough contrary opinions. Didn't we literally start with the second greatest feud in Kentucky?
That's true, we did, but people still complain about that. So I will play devil's advocate and just quickly say, I could see how somebody would think this show is boring if that person is boring. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I mean, okay, that's not entirely fair. You could definitely be bored with this and not be a boring person yourself, but it's one of those shows where it's just like very mellow and very like chill, not isekai, iyashike sort of healing type atmosphere about two post-college age girls living with each other, except they happen to be fairies. As you know, it's just friendship and magic, but not friendship is magic. That's a different one. And my favorite thing about it's probably the little people in the big world aesthetic.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's the main selling point of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that and all the green, I guess. It's a very green show.
There's a large amount of green in this show.
I'm just looking at the poster. That's what made me think of that. But I like that. I like that aesthetic. I think they pull it off really well, which is hard to do on like a limited animation budget. And one thing that I will say that this show has done like better than almost any other show that I've seen is the whole like comic panels within the frame stylistic choice. Like the fact that like the backgrounds are still animated when they zoom in like that and the characters get more, it's really good. Sorry, that I kind of rambled there. So the thing that makes this so good is they've got I forgot for a second that I wasn't just gushing about a show I like, but that in fact I have to inform the listeners about it. So the thing that I really like that they do with the comic panels within the frame thing is that they fully animate the background, sometimes in like full parallax while the characters are walking through it. Whereas normally when you see this manga panel thing show up in something like, say, oh god, that show from last season from last winter, where they were dating each other, but they wanted to date their teachers.
The NTR Trap one. Or wait.
No, not NTR Trap. Scum's Wish. Scum's
Wish, that's the other one. Yep.
Love and Lies was the name that kept popping into my mind. For some reason, Love and Lies was like meh. But yeah, this like Love and Lies did that, but all of the panels always had like totally blank gradient backgrounds on the instead of like showing the world around the characters. And I don't know. This show's just really nicely stylized and really well done. Lerche's a good studio in general. And then I feel like we now have to jump from that to probably the least well done show of the entire season. And there's competition for that, to be sure, but Hakyu Hoshin Engi is just
God.
It's actually just a fucking nightmare. I mean, there are some people who are watching this, apparently, a few people who even like it, but this is the most rushed and poorly executed show I've ever seen. Not I've ever seen, but it's one of the most rushed and poorly executed shows I have seen in like 5 or so years. And I watched Handshakers. I've seen some shit, guys, and this is some shit.
I think when I was watching it, I did this joke in my fucking video about the winter season, but I went in watching all these shows blind. I didn't look at anything about the plots of anything of them. I just went by show titles and just went, go. Let's see what happens. Right. And when this came on, they started out this fantasy plot, and he's fighting the guy with the fucking magic wand and shit. And I was like, oh, this is going to be one of those bait and switch things where the kids are watching it on TV, or it's going to be like an ad that's playing up in like the main square Tokyo or some shit, and they're going to look down at the guy and he's like, oh, I wish my life was like that. And then it just kept going. And it kept going, and I was like, no, this is a show. Holy shit, this is an actual show. What is going on here?
Yeah, it's like they took the pacing and writing of one of those fake anime that they use for a fake out, like in Pop Team Epic, which we'll get to. But yeah, I totally know what you mean. It like feels like a fake TV show that someone made up to make fun of shonen series within another show. And so the plot of this is that this guy's clan is wiped out by this demon lady who is the queen of all of Japan, and this guy named Taikobo is turned into a god type thing, and he's got to use his magic wand to trap a bunch of demons inside the netherworld. Like, I honestly, I'm describing the plot as well as I can remember it, and it's hard because the first episode they go through like an entire 4 seasons worth of content. I feel like the first episode of Hakyu Hoshin Engi is maybe more rushed than the last episode of Charlotte.
That's a wow. That's a loaded statement there. Yeah, I would kind of agree.
Like, okay, so the main character like comes down to the real world. He like fights 4 different demon enemies. There's like they spend 5 minutes with, or no, like 2 minutes with that prologue fight, and then 5 minutes establishing this entire like heavenly hierarchy, and there's this evil demoness down on the planet that they have to stop by sending her to a parallel dimension, and this guy has to like go down like his naughty list of all of the demons who are existing in Earth and send them to the netherworld one by one. So he goes down to Earth riding on a magical hippo thing with hair, who's the mascot and whatnot.
That's what that is.
And yeah,
I thought this was a sequel, so I didn't watch it either. But I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, why is that old man upside down? Why does his beard cover his mouth?
He totally does look like a upside down old man. Yeah, no, he's the mount mascot thing. And yeah, so
why does it have hands? Or are those hooves?
They're hands. They're hands with gloves on them.
That's terrifying.
Shh, don't worry. It's
sidekick.
gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. You
I
don't
like
have to
it,
watch
John.
it. You don't have to watch it. It's okay.
Man, I don't like that.
No, it's very uncomfortable to look at. It looks into my soul, and I don't think it likes what it sees.
Can we move on to the Idol show now?
No, I want to talk about this some more because I haven't.
All right,
so
it's your podcast.
So in the first episode, the main character goes down to. We see a flashback to the main character's whole village being wiped out by this evil demoness, and then we cut to the evil demoness talking to like 50 different demons who are her servants, and she's like, "Yo, hey, there's this guy coming to stop us. Can you guys stop him?" And then this guy's like, "Okay, I'll stop him." And then he flies out to fight the guy, and you're like, okay, so this is like the big fight of the episode. They fight for a while, and they like reach a stalemate or something. And they fight for a while, and they reach a stalemate in like 3 minutes. And then the main character like gets back up, and then he goes to the palace to infiltrate it, not wearing a disguise at all. But he's just like, "Hi, I want to be a servant, evil queen." And the evil queen, who like knows he's coming, just plays along for no particular reason. And he's assisted by the fucking like her servant who hates her for no particular reason. So he shows up and they have like this awkward, like funny conversation. And then she's like, "Yo, I gotcha, bitch." And the episode's still not over. And then the main character is like being sentenced to death. and they're all being like walked off this plank. But then they're like, yo, fuck no. So they just toss the executioners into a pit full of snakes, which I guess, or alligators or whatever the fuck it is. And they could have done that all along. So it's not like it's weird that they weren't being held by chains or even like real threat of force. They just easily overthrow the guys, and then they get murdered by the queen. She's like, haha, you'll never stop me. And then the main character runs away. And then that's one episode. I just, like, I can't.
But where does the hippo come in? Where does that come from?
The hippo's just the mount that he's given to help him fight the demons.
Listen, I think a good statement to end this on is that I stopped watching the show about 3 minutes in because I couldn't take it anymore. And I could listen to Jeff's recounting of this entire show, and it was more entertaining. So I think that basically goes without saying the quality of this entire thing.
And by the way, the plot of the show moves about as fast as I was just talking. It like,
oh boy,
it's unwatchably bad. It's unwatchably bad. So Bryant, you would probably get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I might like this.
Moving.
I mean, no joke.
Moving on.
I'm ready.
But
Let's
we
go.
all know I have bad taste.
We do. Let's move on to. There's a new Precure season. Did either of you check that out?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, good. Neither did I. Idolish 7.
Boring.
Wait, which one's that? Hang on.
Exactly.
Idolish 7. Group of us filing. Oh, no, it's dudes. Never mind. No, continue.
Yeah, it's 7 idol dudes. It's animated by Troika, which means it's probably pretty good, but I had like zero interest in this, so I made it one of my skips.
It almost got really good. Oh, you skipped this one? So you didn't see the first episode. Well,
No, I didn't.
It almost got really good because the whole thing is that there's this main character girl who works at her father's idol agency. So she's trying to like make a name for herself in the business with her dad's help. And she gets assigned to be the manager of this experimental 7-person idol group. And she's like, oh man, I love this. They have great chemistry. And she goes to her dad to like report all the stuff that she's learned about them. And the dad's like, great, pick 3 of them. That's going to be our new idol group. It's like, what? I thought the 7-person thing. It's like, yeah, we decided not to do that. Like, too much money, too much effort, too much experimenting. So it almost got really good. But then, of course, she was like, they only work as a group of 7. And Dad was like, great, you passed the test, honey. You're going to be a good manager.
Oh,
yeah.
You gotta love the dad fucking with his daughter plot point.
Yeah. So, but if they had just stuck with that and like been like, shit, like I have to actually do manager things and figure out how to make this hard decision.
It becomes a battle royale.
That would have been great. That would have been great. I would be on board. That's where I thought you were going.
Show
and I was
battle
like,
royal.
We got a baby show battle royale. We got an idol show battle royale.
Now we just need a baby idol show. Just mix everything together. Baby idol battle royale.
I'm on board for that. I'm down. I'm down.
Let's just take all of our Patreon money for the next 10 years and make a mediocre anime. Speaking of mediocre anime.
You can go to Kickstarter.com right now for Crack Baby Idols group. It's the new hot battle royale anime. Crack. It's got to be Crack Babies. That's the only way they're going to be in a battle royale. That's they're not even fighting for the fucking Holy Grail or anything. They're just fighting for crack.
I was just gonna say, you don't even have to have masters or servants or anything like that. You just put them in a pin together and they just go, man. It's great.
Okay. All right.
Most offensive Weebcast ever.
I was gonna say, we said rape a bunch of times. We talked about crack babies. All we have to do now is talk about. Oh, we talked about gay people. We talked about citrus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's get into politics with the Junji Ito collection.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there's no politics in this, but there's also no horror in it, which is kind of very disappointing.
Yeah. So they aren't even doing the Enigma of Amigara fault, right?
Are they not?
I don't see it in this like poster. I don't see anything that could be that.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, so I guess what happened with this show is so Junji Ito, if you don't know, is the greatest horror manga artist of all time.
Yeah.
Like there is nobody better, and he has created a bunch of really legendary manga, short stories, long stories. He's like the Stephen King of manga, except he's actually scary. What I think happened with this is that Studio Dean was like, we've got a little bit of money left over. Let's license all of the cheapest possible Junji Ito stories.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
That's it. It's just like, what are the lowest grossing Junji Ito stories we can get our hands on? Let's just slap his name on it for like an extra 10 grand to license saying his name as the name of the show, and people will watch it. And you know what? For an anthology series to have 40,000 viewers on MAL is pretty fucking crazy, especially one this like honestly poorly produced.
Mm-hmm.
It's just ugh.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
It does not bring the ironically enough, it does not bring the horror. Like, I made it a point to watch this during the daytime because I was like, this is gonna fuck me up. I know it's gonna fuck me up. And then I watched it and I was like, I could have watched this at 3 a.m. Like, it's not really that scary.
Yeah, there's
Yami Shibai is a million times scarier.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
I was just gonna say that there's literally nothing scary in the first episode.
Yeah.
I can't like the imagery in the like tiny clip at the end of the first episode, where it's like the people turning into dolls.
Like, that was kind of creepy.
That one still image is creepy, but that's it. It's just creepy.
Yeah, if they turned the doll short story into
the whole episode,
that would have been creepy as fuck. Because that idea of like this family's daughter slowly turning into a doll, that could be expanded out into a whole horror story episode easily. But instead they're like jumping between 3 different stories, and the main character is just this whiny little bitch
who
he kills a
scary.
frog.
Yeah,
he kills a frog. 0 out of 10. Worst anime. He kills a frog.
Yeah.
He didn't even try to kill the frog though. He's just like bad at doing everything.
Yeah.
Like he's not like some sociopath or something who's like murdering animals to get his kicks. He literally just like accidentally kills a frog while he's trying to keep it as a pet. And like the whole show is just fucking, I don't know. I haven't seen all of the episodes because I kind of gave up on it, but it's just boring.
The whole show is just accidentally killing Junji Ito's works while trying to keep them as a pet.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Makes sense. Seems legit.
That's a good, like, this was such a good opportunity to do like Amigahara Fault and a bunch of other like classic Junji Ito stories that are too short to have their own adaptations and maybe too creepy to be like OVAs or whatever. And instead of that, they're just like, fuck it. Let's get the worst, literally all the worst Junji Ito stories that we can, or at least all of the least scary.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's move on to an actually fucking good show again. Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san.
This was scarier than the whole Junji Ito collection.
No, I was terrified the whole time.
Yeah, she's Takagi-san is quite possibly the greatest villain in
if she doesn't win greatest villain
season.
at the Anime Awards this year.
At this Anime Awards. She has to like retroactively
the ones for
overwrite
last
everybody
She
else.
writes herself back in. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I get any say in it, then I'm going to make everybody vote for Takagi-san. In every category. Takagi-san, the character, wins best music.
So why don't you explain the show for people who aren't familiar?
I mean, it's a show about 2 grade school students who both have very obvious crushes on each other. The girl knows it, the boy, like, doesn't. And she just teases him about it all the time. And, like, really enjoys drawing things out as long as she can, because she knows she could have that at any time.
Yeah, it's middle school flirting.
It's adorable.
Basically.
It's the best thing this season.
It really is. It's really fantastic. It has come under a bit of fire because the mangaka who created it draws exactly the kind of manga that you would expect him to draw based on the art style of the show.
Okay.
And some people find that upsetting, but like people do porn. Mangaka do porn. This does not have any of those uncomfortable tones. So
No, this is pure and wonderful.
Yeah, I'm perfectly comfortable supporting this show. It's fun and cute, and it reminds me of Tonari no Seki-kun in a lot of ways. It's so if you enjoy Tonari no Seki-kun, this manga adaptation, I think it's also a 4-panel manga. It like feels like a 4-panel gag manga, but I've been wrong about that before. Actually, no. Yeah, that's right. Somebody said that this isn't a 4-panel manga.
Yeah, I was about to say, they're doing a lot of adaptation if this is a 4-panel thing.
I mean, you know, Azumanga Daioh got a 24-minute episodes back in the day. It's not like they've never done that for 4-koma.
Yeah.
But like the gag structure feels very much like a 4-koma.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good, cute, wholesome show. I think everybody pretty much enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying it. It's one of the ones I've been like actively keeping up with.
Like,
which does not
that like at the end of the first part of the first episode, like you had a 50-50 chance. It's a shame. Like, I feel for you, Nishikata.
Yeah, that's oh god, that's so good. And there's like a lot of really cute gags and cute moments in it. I like the side characters too. The other classmates, I like that they focus on them to a degree.
They're my least favorite part of the show. Like, everybody cites them as like, yeah, I wish it focused on the side characters more. I really like them. I think they're really funny. And like, just cut them out. Get rid of them.
I think it's good to have the balance.
Yeah, I understand the value of having them, but if the show were made specifically for me, they would not be there.
Yeah. I can see that.
My favorite side character is Takagi-san's fucking forehead. It's a character in itself.
Everybody's got a big forehead. Everyone's got a big forehead in this one. That's like one of the... I mean, that's one of the reasons that I was not surprised when people were like, yo, this guy draws lolicon art. I was like, yeah. Okay. Sure. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, not one bit.
Doesn't surprise me when I hear that about the guy who made Made in Abyss either.
Now that you say it, no. No, that doesn't surprise me one bit. That surprises me less.
But yeah, it's it's a fun slice of life comedy. If you're missing Surrey Dure children, stuff like that, this is
I need to finish
right up your alley. Now speaking of hilarious, let's talk about one of the funniest comedies of this season, Killing Bites.
Yes.
A seinen ecchi battle royale manga adaptation that brings my famous metric for judging anime down to the legendary time to rape metric down to a legendary 2.5 minutes. Like literally the inciting incident of this story is an attempted rape, and the main character of this fucking show is the guy driving the rape van.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I mean, I am trying to, given my track record on this Weebcast, I'm trying to say this in a way that doesn't sound like I'm defending people who drive rape vans. Mm-hmm. But, like, starting the show with somebody who was
an honest mistake that he was driving.
Who is obviously in over his head, like, who didn't know exactly what he was getting into in this situation is not an inherently bad opening.
I do like how that. I mean, the thing is, it's good that they didn't try to make us sympathize with the rapist. It would be like a real big plot twist if at the end what a plot twist it would be if at the end he was like, yeah, I was in there intentionally. And it's like, that would be like up there with fucking Mr. Glass in, I don't want to spoil that for people.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Good.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. But
yeah, but that would be a good plot twist. But anyway, I do like, as inciting incidents go, it definitely doesn't get much more original and memorable than the main character has been roped in by his douchebag friends to drive them around in their rape van, and he doesn't want any part of it, but he's doing it anyway. And then also the girl they pick up for raping is accidentally a werewolf. Whoops! Oh golly, isn't that awkward?
Yeah, this like crosses my line from being like enjoyable to being ironically enjoyable.
Yeah,
and you know that my Overton window for anime is like shifted way toward the cheesy and bad.
Yeah, so this is about like therianthropes, which are Tumblr users who have been genetically altered by scientists to show their animal sides and fight each other
on all levels, including physical. They are a wolf.
So
unless they're women. If they're women, then the top half is still mostly a person.
Yes.
If you're men, then you're actually a wolf thing.
Yeah, then you like turn into a full thing. But yeah, if you're a woman, your tits and face stay the same. And the main characters are in this are like a lynx girl, a bunny girl, and a honey badger girl. And everybody underestimates the honey badger girl, but then it turns out she's really violent because honey badger doesn't give a fuck. And, you know, it's fate with furries. Furry stay night.
You're proud of yourself,
and yes, very. I'm very proud of myself for that.
I'm just more surprised because I made the joke, but like I went through watching this show and I was just like, man, this is like kind of the concept of what they were doing with terraformers, but they're doing it with animal people. But there's also people in space. Wait a second, who did this show? Oh, Leiden Films. Okay, maybe they're just adapting this very specific genre of like manga. They're like, does it have animal people? Possible. Let's go. Let's do it.
This is just what Leiden Films does. Anything else they do is to pay the bills for their weirdly specific style of battle royale.
I mean, you gotta make a name for yourself.
You do. Let's move on to Koi wo Amegare no Yoni, or After the Rain.
Yes.
Which is a really, really, really touching, sweet seinen love story about a high school student who had to drop out of track and field because of a leg injury, and she goes to work for this family restaurant and falls in love with the manager. Well, she goes to work for the family restaurant because she fell in love with the manager. And it's about a 17-year-old girl trying to seduce a 45-year-old divorced dad. And it's going to sound weird with that description, but it's a very wholesome and cute and fun romance story, and it's one of the best shows this season.
Absolutely. Hopefully not a romance story. Hopefully like a one-sided romance story.
It's definitely going to go to romance. I guarantee it.
I mean, as much as I think you're right, I still want to argue
that it shouldn't. You don't think it should?
Well, no, it shouldn't. He's 45.
That is
17.
uncomfortable.
Like, there are ways that these two characters could end up together, and I would be happy with it. Like, because it's implied in one episode, like, she's trying to use her crush on him to fill the void in her life that was left by track and field. Great. He has this whole existential thing going on about getting old, so he wants to use her, subconsciously, as a means of, like, feeling more youthful. Great. Both those things come together, two people using each other. I made a whole video about Kirito and Asuna in Sword Art Online Abridged. That is my favorite kind of relationship. Do it. Other than that, like, no.
Yeah, I mean, it being a positive and happy thing is definitely not the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's not like a pedophile age difference.
No.
You know? It's a once she turns 18, it's fine.
Yeah.
Type thing. And it's like, I don't know. I don't mind the idea of an age gap story like this. Like romance between someone much younger and much older. I think that it opens up both exploring interesting psychological stuff like what you were talking about, but also it can just be like a sweet thing about people you wouldn't expect to love each other loving each other. And I'm on board for that kind of story. And I like, if she was literally any younger, I would be super fucking uncomfortable with this show.
I'm sure they made her 17 for exactly that reason.
Yeah.
Because you're, like, straddling that line between being a child and an adult.
Right. And she's young enough for it to be a problem without being young enough for it to be a problem for the show.
Yeah.
Which is good, because I like the idea of a show that explores, like, a taboo relationship and the stuff that gets in the way of people falling in love, and how maybe love can transcend stuff that gets in its way.
Like the law. The goddamn law.
Like the... Well, I'm wasn't it a... Yeah, it was a Mumpkey Jones. It was Mumpkey Jones' review of B Gotta HK, from which I learned the age of consent in Japan is a lot lower.
Isn't it 14?
Yeah. By the way, if you guys haven't seen Mumpkey Jones' review of B Gotta HK, it's fucking god tier. If you're in the mood for a good YouTube video.
And if you haven't seen B Gotta HK, at least the first episode of that is really good.
Yeah, it's quite a funny little ecchi romantic comedy. But yeah, just back to After the Rain. I think it's cute and fun. I wish it wasn't exclusive to Amazon, which is also what I'm going to say for the next show we're talking about. But yeah, I object to anime that glorifies incest. I super duper object to anime that glorifies, like, pedophilia. And I think that the ending of Usagi Drop is literally the most upsetting thing in the history of media.
Wow.
If you don't know about the ending,
I know,
of Usagi Drop, don't fucking... It's fucking up there. It's definitely... So, like, I am one of those people who's, like, put off by explorations of taboo relationships if they, like, glorify them generally. But this, I'm like, this is very much an age is just a number man story. Well, like, and 17.
It just feels very real, which is why, like, I wouldn't necessarily have, like, I wouldn't have an objection with the decision to put these two together. I would, from, like, a moral standpoint, I mean, with something like, I don't know, Tenchi no 3P, like we talked about way back when.
Yeah.
But, like...
That...
Yeah, exactly. But, like, I would feel that the story could have been better if they had made the relationship more complicated.
Yeah, I agree with that. I hope that they explore, like, the downsides of it.
Well, it seems like they will.
I really hope that the boy from her school has some some good stuff happen to him, because he's a really good boy and he deserves to be happy.
I'm hoping that the show ends with him convincing her to go on a date with the guy from her school.
That would actually be really nice.
Yeah.
Either that, or I want the guy from her school to date her coworker.
Yeah.
Because she's cool, and she also
cool.
deserves some happiness. Mm-hmm. This show's got like a really lovable supporting cast of characters, and it's like we're talking about the themes. I just want to go into like what makes the show itself enjoyable for a quick sec. The music is great. The animation is like 10 out of 10 gorgeous. But it's, Wit Studio, so that's to be expected. Mm-hmm. And it's just like really, really fucking good and well directed and awesome.
And again, amazing OP.
Amazing OP. Mm-hmm. And ED. One of my favorite EDs of the year so far. Mm-hmm. Speaking of amazing OPs, thank you for setting me up for that, Bryant.
You're welcome.
The next anime that we are talking about is another Amazon exclusive, Kokoku from Geno Studio, which everybody...
Holy shit.
Yeah. You want to talk about this one?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so there's a girl named I think her name's is it Juri or Juri?
Yeah.
Julie. Okay, Julie. Julie lives with her brother and her father and her grandpa and her sister, and is it her nephew too? Yeah, it's her nephew.
Just a big old dysfunctional family.
Yeah, it's a big dysfunctional family, and then the nephew and her brother, they get kidnapped, and like they have 30 minutes. They're like, you have 30 minutes to give us the money, and they don't have any money. So the grandpa's just like, all right, fuck it. By the way, we have this rock that if you pour your blood in it, it stops time. We don't do it very often. It's not a huge deal, but sometimes if we need to, we can stop time. And I'm at this point, I've checked out, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Excuse me. And they stop time, and they're like, okay, let's go do this. And then it turns out the people that kidnapped them have people chasing them or something like that can also stop time. And now they're frozen in one like moment for the first few episodes, and they're frozen in one moment of time, and they're trying to fight each other and get back to normal reality. And it's fucking weird and awesome, and I love it. And the OP is goddamn catchy as hell. I cannot get it out of my head.
Yeah, it's a god tier OP.
Like animation aside, it's one of the best OP songs we've had in like years. And also the animation's really cool and inventive.
It's an inventive fucking show, man. It's so interesting.
You forgot to mention the giant monsters that enforce
the heralds are like my favorite
There's
part
a
of the
large
show.
tree man that gets pissed if you try to touch somebody that is not in the stop time.
A large tree man named Harold.
Yeah, Harold. Harold Treeman.
Harold Treeman.
Harold Treeman.
Harold Treeman reaches down and squishes your head if you try to fuck with somebody that's not in stop time.
And to be clear, he does not squish your head a little. He squishes it
a lot.
He just like gently pinches
for him,
your
but it's
head.
a lot for you.
Like, hey, stop doing that. Squishy.
Stop it.
Just like gently tickling you.
And the heralds are like apparently ancestors of this family who've turned into stop time monsters, and their sole job is to just stop people from breaking the arbitrary rules of stopped time. This is like a really fun and original horror thriller mystery thing. And it's I would go out there and I would say that it's one of the better seinen series that's been adapted recently. Although this season's just really good for seinen shows in general.
Yeah.
Like Hakume and Mikochi, that's a seinen series. That's all I can remember right now. But yeah,
Killing Bites.
Killing Bites is the outlier that's not so good. But yeah, After the Rain and Kokoku, and it's a good season for people who like seinen anime, and we haven't had a good season for seinen anime fans in a while. I feel like it's been mostly the josei who've been benefiting from good anime adaptations. Do you guys have anything else to say about Kokoku?
I mean, if we need more dissenting opinions, I'll just say this isn't my kind of show. I didn't enjoy it very much.
Okay. Well,
I'm not saying it's not good, because it really is. But like,
I was 2 seconds away from grabbing the rock again.
No, please. You already left a hole in my window.
There's about to be 2.
But 2 holes in my window? No,
I mean, Bryant's... So, Bryant, what you're saying is that this is not suited to your taste, which is you like bad anime.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. No, I got excited for this show. Like, it's one of those cases where you start watching something and you really like one element of it, but it turns out that's not the element that the show is about. So you're expecting one thing and then you get something else, and even if the other thing is good, it's like putting on a blindfold and taking a sip of a milkshake, but finding out that it's orange juice.
I kind of get.
So like, this show started and it like explored this family dynamic where you have one person who's very successful and everybody else who just barely even tries and like leans on her to like be the torchbearer for this family. And like, damn, that's a really interesting dynamic. I like that a lot. And then Blood Rock Stop Time Kidnapping. Like, I'm like, oh, this isn't what I wanted it to be. There's a giant tree monster now. Like,
I will say, I promise you that the fucked up family of failures is very much the focus of this show.
Right.
The stop time is just there to make it more interesting.
Yeah, it just like hit me at a weird angle, and I figured this is the show that like when I found out I was going to be on the Weebcast this season and I watched this, I thought this is my Land of the Lustrous this season. I'm going to say this show is bad, and then everybody in the comments is going to be like, no, it's not bad. Everything you said was bullshit. Like, that's what happens when you watch one episode of everything, man. You're wrong sometimes.
Yeah, it does unfortunately happen. Some shows just don't have a good first episode showing.
Yeah. So no, I didn't enjoy this when I watched it. I might go back and pick it up again with your glowing recommendations of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll find some stuff to enjoy in it. It might not be your cup of tea. It just might not be your cup of tea. You seem to like bad horror specifically, so...
Damex Prince isn't horror.
Yeah, but
so far as
bad.
You know, it's not horror.
No, I've been talking with Evan about it, and we just really want it to have a halfway twist where it becomes this serious, gritty political drama.
That would be... I would be on board for that. If you told me that happened, I'd watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit too late for that to have the, like, Madoka effect, but... I don't know. We're hoping, but we're also going to be very happy if it doesn't do that. So,
yeah,
and it won't.
I know that
it will not.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that it does, but I know that it won't.
No.
So. Mira no Kaikata,
cute.
Or How to Raise Your Mummy.
Cute.
Very cute.
I want one. Where do I purchase one?
Yeah.
Me too.
I would like to purchase one mummy, please.
This is the show that I enjoyed most this season that I'm definitely never going to watch another episode of ever again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good description of it.
Yeah.
It's like I got what I wanted out of it. I have no investment in the plot. The plot is about this guy whose dad sends him a mummy, and the mummy's actually just like a fucking hamster.
Yeah, it's just a hamster wrapped in toilet paper.
And then all of his friends also have pet mystical animals that they take care of, and that's the show. That is the whole show.
Yeah.
It's really cute. It's really, really cute.
Yeah, it's adorable.
And funny. It's actually like funny too.
It's a really good 1 episode long series.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I know I don't have the patience to finish it ever. And I really hope it doesn't like take some fucking left turn out of nowhere where it becomes like a shonen battle anime or something like that.
Everything is a battle royale.
Everything's a battle royale.
It's just Pokemon with these things.
Yeah. And this, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd watch that or not, actually. They are very cute.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the animals are very cute. The characters... I mean, the main character's design pisses me off because it's the most fucking generic thing I've ever seen
He
in an
looks
anime.
like a boring Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist.
Yeah. No, he literally looks like the
Jaden
boring
Yuki.
Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah.
protagonist. Yeah. The boring Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist. Jaden Yuki. Except, like, they boringed him up a little.
Yeah. He doesn't have his badass school uniform. He just has a normal school uniform.
I mean, imagine like any shonen protagonist and then warp their hair a little bit to the left, and that's it. There is another show that I watched one episode of that I thought was very cute and funny, and will never watch another episode again. Mitsuboshi Colors.
Yeah. I mean, I did drop this one before the first episode ended, so not as cute as your mummy show.
Yeah, not as cute. It's. So the premise of Mitsuboshi Colors is that the Colors are three little girls who hang out together and say they're protecting the peace of their city, but really they're just, you know, playing around and annoying people.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute. It's
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody have literally anything else to say about this show?
I dropped it when I found out that the panda-like cat who was stealing things all over the city wasn't a raccoon.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, no,
That would've been
wasted. It's over.
That would have been a funny twist.
No, like, I feel like maybe not this, but How to Keep a Mummy or How to Train Your Mummy or whatever it's called. They could be standouts if the season were worse. Like, if these had come out in the fall, or the summer, I mean, because the fall was a pretty strong season too.
Summer had some good stuff.
It did, but not nearly as much as winter.
Yeah, Gamers was the best show of
Yeah,
summer,
like,
so.
it was Gamers Made in Abyss. There were like 5 shows that were pretty good.
Yeah. Whereas this season is pretty fucking loaded.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mitsuboshi Colors is just like a cute slice of life thing to watch if you've already seen the other ones. Non Biori. If you've seen Non Biori and you did not have enough from Non Biori, Mitsuboshi Colors exists. And that is also a description that I would apply to Merhen Maidhen.
I wouldn't.
Is-
It exists.
Is that how you say the
I don't think
goddamn name of this show?
Märchen Mädchen. Or something like
Mädchen.
Merhen
Märchen. I don't speak
Yum.
German. I speak Dutch.
You're going a little too hard on the it's like-
Märchen.
Merhen Maidchen.
All right.
I don't fucking know. It's more
Fairy Tale
interesting trying to
Girls.
figure out how to pronounce this title than it is actually watching this
I made
show.
that
Yeah.
exact same joke.
Did you?
It's just okay. Here, let me just. So there's a girl. Her name is Hazuki Kagimura, and she doesn't get along with anybody or whatever, and she just likes books. And one day, the bookshelves send her to another world, and there's another girl, and the girls are called Maidchen, who attend the school and are selected by old fairy tales and folk stories to wield the magic and whatever. I don't know. It's just like, it's like weird, slightly isekai, slightly like Yuri harem shit. It's very odd. It's an odd one for sure.
Reading is power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
this
like-
is like
you know what it is?
a
You
stupid
know what it is?
middle school library PSA.
It's fucking anime Wishbone. It's anime Wishbone.
I don't think you should insult Wishbone like that.
Yeah, this is like someone saw that Little Witch Academia was really successful last year and spent a lot of money on the closest light novel that they could find.
Yeah.
It's just like normal girl goes to witch school, and I think maybe there's like a battle royale element. Does this become a battle royale? I don't know. I watched one episode and I dropped it forever.
I mean, I barely remembered there was a school, but I do vaguely remember a competition element.
Yeah, they like transform and fight each other.
Yes.
But I don't think they're all trying to kill each other. I think it's one of those light novels where they just do battle tournaments forever. Like Asterisk War, where there's no point. Except to perpetuate the plot forever.
I'm actually kind of pissed now. As a side note, I'm kind of pissed now that I didn't think of Anime Wishbone for a fucking joke for my video.
You should be pissed.
Jesus, Jeff.
You should be pissed.
I am pissed. I'm a comedy writer more than anything, so I'm just like, God damn it. How did I not think of this?
I'm just trying to stoke the flames of your blood feud with each other. Don't mind me.
We don't have a blood feud.
Sure you don't.
Yeah. That would be assumed that we would be related by blood. Actually, we're from Kentucky, so it's very well well possible.
Well, you're from one of the good cities, one of the like 2 good cities in Kentucky.
Yep.
So yeah, you're from where people live who are not white or Mexican.
Yeah. All right, we're getting a bit off topic. Let's move
just
on.
A tiny bit.
Let's move on from one show about cute girls doing fucking nothing to another, Nanatsu no Bitoku. I did not actually watch this. I don't think that anybody should or did.
I didn't.
Did either of you?
Nope.
Okay,
hang on.
good.
This is another one of those where I'm gonna have to like actually look up what the show is.
7 Heavenly Virtues. Do you remember that Sin Nanatsu no Taizai series from like
yeah. No.
Yeah, so it's just 7 angels who are really hot and sexy as opposed to 7 devils who are really hot and sexy, and it's designed to sell figurines. That's all. It's based on a figurine line. It literally has no purpose other than to sell you things.
Okay. Moving on.
All right. Moving on. Also, Nanatsu no Taizai is out, but it's not out because Netflix sucks. Overlord has a 2nd season, and then Pop Team Epic is the greatest fucking thing ever.
No.
It's a meme. It's such a meme.
It is a meme. It's a top tier meme. It's a really, really fucking good comedy anime.
No.
You don't like it?
No.
No?
Mm-mm. I couldn't stand it the first time, and then it made me watch it again.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that they let you tune in at a different time to choose which version of the voice actors you want to hear. Because, I don't know, Papuko and Pipimi are... I think it works better when they have the male voices, honestly.
I agree.
Just the songs sung by the male voice actors are fucking great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They drastically enhance the production. I think it's fucking amazing. I think that it's one of the funniest, best produced zany comedies that we've had in anime in a long ass time. How can you hate Pop Team Epic? How can you not love Pop to Pipiku?
There's simultaneously nothing and too much here. Like, it moves like a greased bullet, but it leaves as much impact as like a beanbag. It just goes from one thing to the other. It's like,
I mean, yeah, they're adapting a plotless gag manga.
I know,
I
know, but like, I'm not saying there should be plot, because I don't put much stock in plot anyway, which is one of the most pretentious things I've ever said. But the way this is adapted just makes it seem like they're taking advantage of an assumed low attention span from viewers.
I guess
it's like flashing lights and bright colors, and like it's just lol so random humor.
I don't think it's lol so random.
It's like a step up, and that's it.
There's like an undercurrent that connects all of the jokes, like both of the main characters being quote cute girls, but actually having like one of them's like a very stern salaryman type character, and the other one's like a fucking psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
There's consistency there. I wouldn't say that, I wouldn't say it's not random, because it's not like there's no structure at all. But to me, it feels like a stream of consciousness meta commentary comedy in the vein of like Monty Python's Flying Circus, where like anything can happen and they can break the rules of a TV show, which are like some of the best comedy moments of this season have come from Pop Team Epic getting fucking weird and just playing with the rules of the broadcast format.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they started the first episode as a completely different anime and had it go on
that
for
was
a solid
amazing
2.5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I'll give it that. Like it's bold. I'll totally give you that. Because it's doing a lot of things that are really experimental, even if I feel like most of them fall flat. Like you said, starting the first episode with that fake anime, which, just as a side note, I'll say I would rather have watched the fake anime.
You can watch the fake anime at the end of every episode of Pop Team Epic.
Yeah,
they have the instead of previewing the next episode of Pop Team Epic, they preview the next episode of that anime.
Like, I'll say the cut to live action with the French guy was great, especially before they put in any subtitles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well,
it's pretty good.
I love that they do that. Just like they have the first time you watch it, you don't know what he's saying, and then the second time you watch it, he's saying something very obvious that's easy to understand from context.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I love shit like in the third episode, I think, where they like ambush the voice actors and start like forcing them to do impressions, and then like,
oh god, yeah, that shit was hilarious.
The girl breaks down crying, and the guy's like, "This is so unprofessional. We're leaving." And it's like, "Did you see it?" And there's a fucking ghost underneath the bench the whole time, and then it zooms in farther, and god, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm sure there are funny parts to it, but like if you throw that much stuff at the viewer, then eventually you're gonna hit something good.
That's not. I think that doing like absurd, non sequitorial comedy is really difficult.
Yeah, and
I think
it is really difficult, and the fact that it's really difficult shows in this show.
I don't think I disagree. I think that this is like consistently hilarious.
All right.
I don't know if all of the jokes are as memorable as each other, but is every Python sketch as memorable as the parrot sketch?
No.
Yeah, it's you're gonna hit some uneven tone, but like this feels like an anime.
I think it's a pretty consistent tone, just with high points.
Yeah, I to me this feels like an anime done by Terry Gilliam, and I'm like, I fucking love it so much. I think, I think Pop Team Epic is fantastic. I can understand the.
You're allowed.
And we're all
I've got
allowed
my
to
King's
like
Game.
good anime
I've got
or
my
bad
Damex
anime.
Prince. You can have Pop Team Epic. That's fine.
I mean, except you're not going to. Maybe you should go on your channel and just defend Damex Prince. Be like, this is the greatest fucking show this season.
It's not, though. Like, that's the difference between you and me, Jeff, is that I'm not defending my poor taste. I'm saying I like this. I'm not saying it's good.
This is your, like, I guarantee you, this is going to be your Land of the Lustrous.
Oh, damned if I don't know it.
This is the one people are going to eviscerate
Damned if I don't know it.
No,
like, I feel like it's not going to be like Land of the Lustrous, where it presents itself in a certain way and just doesn't get off on the right foot. And, like, people who watch the first episode are like, yeah, this show sucks. It's gonna be, like, if you don't like this show, then you're never going to like this show. If you do like this show, then you're going to vehemently like this show. Like, and like, admittedly,
Yeah.
I haven't seen more than the first episode. Maybe it is like Land of the Lustrous. Maybe it does get really good later down the line. But
it's got no plot to develop. So
yeah, exactly. So like, there are going to be defenders of this show, and I think there should be, because I can see how this is really appealing to a lot of people. And it's definitely doing things that make anime and animation as like a movement and an art form better, because it's experimenting, and that's always good. I just feel like the experiments fail most of the time.
Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from. I don't know. I'm just enjoying the hell out of everything they throw at the wall.
All right.
But then I'm somebody who likes seeing people like really experiment and be like, why not do a fucking cloth figure stop motion dance number in the middle of this anime? Why not?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to I mean, I want to say that I think everybody can agree that this is the best Yuri show of the season, but I don't know about that.
What's its competition?
Koizumi, yeah, Citrus, I guess. But Koizumi-san loves ramen noodles.
Yeah. It's the best of the 2 Yuri shows of the season.
It is. And the key to it being so good is they replace all the sex with eating ramen.
Yeah.
And
aggressive slurping. Aggressive slurping.
It's a cute girls eating food cutely show. Basically,
yeah,
is the gist of it, and this is a 4-koma manga, so that makes perfect sense. It's just a bunch of gags that are pretty funny, and 4 girls who you can pick which one's your waifu. I don't think there's much to say about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, the main girl's crush on Koizumi is adorable.
Yeah, the way that like she
stalks her.
Yeah, that she just stalks her from restaurant to restaurant, and then all of her friends become friends with her by virtue of not being fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, let's move on to something that's maybe a bit less cool.
Die in a fire.
Yeah, the Rio's work is never done. Are you telling me to die in a fire?
No, not you.
Or this show to...
No.
Yeah.
Yes, Jeff. The Rio's work is never done is a masterpiece. Die in a fire, you Canadian scumbag.
You heard it here first, folks.
Explanation point 2018.
It's a good thing that's not illegal in Kentucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a shogi anime with lollies in it.
It's pedophile glorification. Fuck it.
Yeah.
With shogi trappings.
It's a harem like shogi show where most of the girls in the harem are lollies. It's it's about this 8 or 16-year-old boy who's like a shogi master who starts living with this 11, I want to say 11.
I want to say 8. But
yeah, this very, very young little girl who walks around his house naked constantly. But also she's a shogi genius. And the show's definitely about shogi and not about, having sex with children.
Yeah. Look, a naked 8-year-old walking around this guy's house calling him master isn't cute. It's not funny. Get over your shit, Japan.
Yeah, and the as gags go, oh no, she's naked in my apartment and my childhood friend will get mad at me when she comes over. That doesn't work at the best of times, but when the she who's naked in your apartment is 8, it's not just like she'll get mad at me, she'll call the fucking cops.
As she should.
Can someone please call the fucking police on the Rio's work is never done? Please. It needs to be stopped. It's not okay.
Nope.
we've reached the portion of the program where Jeff just breaks down and starts almost sobbing uncontrollably.
Yeah.
John and I will now discuss Sanrio Boys.
I'm surprised this was like a light novel adaptation and not a manga adaptation, because it like seems like the kind of thing where it could definitely benefit for its target audience from having more pornographic imagery in there. Monetarily, not from an artistic standpoint.
Obviously.
Like, this seems like the kind of thing that's either like a bad dating sim or a bad H manga, but no, it's a light novel. Which I guess shouldn't surprise me. Light novels.
The other interesting point here to bring up is that it would make more sense as a manga adaptation, mainly because they're playing fucking shogi. You need visual representation of this shit. Like,
they're not playing shogi.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, yeah, they're not playing shogi, are they?
No, unless that's what the kids are calling it these days.
The key art for this is just like the key art for this anime is a white panel van with free shogi written on the side.
We'll train for candy.
Learn shogi, free candy. That's just, oh god. Yeah. I'm sure there are some people who will really enjoy this show, Digi. But yeah, it's it's like Ryokyu or Ryokyu, except also, like, in addition to the uncomfortable subject matter underneath it,
it's just bad.
This show is boring.
Yeah.
It's fucking boring.
Yeah, it's at least Tenchi no 3P had like half of an episode that was legitimately really good. Like, this is just crap.
Yeah, it's just it's a very nothing and offensively themed show. Let's move on to Sanrio Danchi,
which is very nothing and very wholesomely themed.
Yeah. It's about some handsome boys who really like Sanrio merchandise and how they shouldn't be ashamed.
I thought we had already talked about this one.
We only talked about the Battle Royale elements.
I've only watched one episode. Are you guys serious about the Battle Royale?
Jeff, Sanrio Boys is not a Battle Royale.
It could go there. Everything's fucking going there this season, man. I would not be surprised.
They're not using their little Hello Kitty keychains to summon Pokemon-esque Sanrio figures to fight each other in a Zatch Bell-style Mamoto.
This is Pompompourine's noble phantasm. Here we go.
I really want this fucking I want the show that you're describing now. This is like, this had that like one emotional moment where it's like, oh shit, I got mad at my grandma and then she died.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it's like, hey, it's okay for guys to like girly things.
It's
Thanks.
a surprisingly good commercial.
Yeah.
It's a really good commercial.
They found a good way of combining handsome boys with their merchandise.
Yeah, I mean,
and like also convincing boys to buy it. Maybe, I don't know.
I feel like it convinces boys that it's okay to buy it, but their target audience is obviously still the same target audience it's always been. They're just going for the same kind of appeal as Gaku and Babysitters, where it's like, oh, look at these handsome boys who are associated with our merchandise. I feel like if you're interested in advertising, this is something that you absolutely have to watch.
The one thing the reason that I'm not like, that I stopped watching it is partly because I'm like, this is kind of boring and I don't want to watch more. But a big reason that I stopped watching it is because Sanrio are being like absolute fucking Nazis with their, not literal Nazis.
Yeah, careful with that these days.
We have to clarify that now. But they are being absolute Nazis with copyright striking fan artists.
Oh man, that's awful.
Sanrio Danchi, and that's like,
Why?
I feel like that's really stupid because a show about hot boys, that's half your fucking audience is people who draw them kissing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So that's the one point where I'd say their marketing's a little off point. But yeah, this is doing the whole selling toys
that
thing
reminds
real
me
well.
of one of my favorite YouTube comments I've ever read, and I think it was on the Hallway Chats podcast where we talked about this. Somebody said, like, Sanrio Danshi, I have 2 really strong thoughts about that show, and the first one is, man, it's awesome how they show all these boys being into feminine things without having them be gay. And the second one is, I want them to be gay so bad, I want to see them do each other in the butt. That's all I want in life.
Yeah.
It's good. I watched 2 episodes and dropped it. Like, I felt like I got the point. But if this is the kind of show you're into, then I think you'll be into it.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. It's one of those just like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
This is one that Yazzie would probably want to talk about more.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to a very appropriately named show, Slow Start.
Oh, God, yeah.
I don't remember anything about this.
It's a slice of life moe show based on a 4-koma manga that's not as good as either of the other big moe shows this season. It's got... So this show, I got into like people got mad at me on Twitter for saying this. This is like the exact kind of show that people look at and they say this is really well animated when it's kind of not. Mm-hmm. It's got like lots of in between frames, and like a better sense of weight than other shows that are like have very detailed animation without it necessarily being good animation. But it's also got like very dead-eyed and unexpressive characters.
I would agree with that.
It makes it makes the animation look like puppetry as opposed to like real characters moving, and they like don't exert themselves when they move. Anyway, this is a show that's got like a lot of like, I guess, technical effort put into the animation, but not a lot of artistry, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's, some people have said I'm just complaining about the character designs when I say that. These character designs could be a lot more expressive than they are. And it's just the only reason I'm talking about the animation right now is because the rest of it's literally just like, this girl she was held back a year because of medical issues, and she goes to school and she's embarrassed about it, but it's okay. That's the show.
That's not a premise.
Yeah.
I'm reading the description of this on Mal, and it says, like, she's a high school student. There's something different about her. She enrolled in high school 1 year late. And there's an exclamation point. And, like, don't befoul my brand like that. That doesn't need an exclamation point. That's a non-factor.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's fucking boring, man. Mm-hmm. And there's like 2 better moe shows that you could be watching, one of which we're about to talk about right now.
Oh yes.
Sore Yori Motoi Basho, or A Place Further Than the Universe, is the best show this season. I think
it's very good.
I'm going to argue that it's like, this is the best moe show I've seen since K-On!
Mm-hmm.
It's got really great and interesting characters. It's got a good sense of plot momentum without taking away from like feeling like a lighthearted slice of life story. It's so well animated and so well directed.
Oh God, yes.
Like the director is the director of No Game No Life. It's written by the writer of No Game No Life, so there's like a lot of clever wordplay, and a lot of like use of ironic signs in the background and interesting camera angles, and the background art is so fucking obscenely detailed and good that it just blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like they went to Kabukicho in episode 2, and
Jesus,
it was
that scene.
Yeah, Yeah, that's one of my... They have insert song scenes in every fucking episode that are like best scene of the season.
Yeah.
Instantly, you know? And they're doing it like over and over again. The end credits of the first episode just made me smile super fucking hard.
Seriously.
I just put out a video on it today, and it got like no fucking traction whatsoever. So I think not enough people are watching this show. And the one thing that I will say, if you're not watching Sore Yori mo Toi Basho, you fucking should be.
Yeah, this is a classic in the making.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Oh, don't say that on my channel. You're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, when's Jeff gonna admit that he was wrong about recreators?
When you admit that you were wrong about recreators, motherfuckers. Because you slept on it and you missed out. And you're gonna sleep on this and miss out.
God, I need to finish recreators.
I feel personally attacked. You know full well I watch anything that has Sawano in the score.
Well, you didn't sleep on it, but other people did. That's what matters.
For sure.
I slept on it so fucking hard, and it upsets me. But yeah, just don't let the best moe show of the season slip you by. Like straight up, even if you're more a fan of Yuru Camp or whatever, that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But like, because
they're different kinds of shows.
Yeah, this is an adventure story that happens to have a lot of moe elements, whereas Yuru Camp is a straight up moe show. Yeah, I don't know. I cannot get over how good this show is, how well done it is. I'll let somebody else talk. You guys know what I think. This is the best show of the fucking season. Go ahead, Bryant.
Can't hold a candle to Toji no Miku, but like...
Oh, boy.
No, Toji no Miko is terrible. But,
okay.
But I love how you can't tell when I'm serious.
I can't. You are cultivating a very good brand there, Brian.
All right. No, a place further than the universe. Like, the way these characters are developing, because that's my biggest thing, is like, it's masterful work. Just seeing, and of course it's something that everybody can relate to too, because I mean, like, pretty much everybody's been a high school student thinking their life is boring and wanting to do something crazy. Like, I know that I wanted to bike to California with a friend of mine. Of course, we didn't do it. That's the thing that sets these people apart, is that they're actually crazy enough to do it. And it's just awesome seeing these people go through this whole thought process and convince themselves, like, hey, I'm totally normal. I need to do something extraordinary, and then actually going through with it. And seeing all their different reasons and how they develop as friends and as people individually. It's just great. And I love that they aren't in Antarctica by episode 7. Spoilers. But it's great.
Yeah. I mean, that's not really a spoiler. I mean, like, they're making their journey to Antarctica slowly, but they are actually going to get there. And that makes me fucking happy. Because, like, you know, there's so many moe shows where nothing fucking happens. It's just a good fucking... We didn't even discuss the plot of this, because
who cares? It's a bunch of crazy high school students who get it in their head to go to Antarctica on a civilian expedition.
Yeah, that's it.
Seems
that's
it seems like a good idea.
It's not a good idea. It's a terrible idea, and they all know that, and it's great.
Yeah, and they do it anyway because they want to, and it's just a really powerful coming of age story, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. And like that's what I love about I love about it so much, is the spirit of like youthful high school optimism, like gone crazy. Like, we were having this argument with Nux in the Cabal about like how these characters are stupid. And, like, I mean, yeah, they're naive high school students, and it's great. Like, yeah,
like, Nux is like, oh, it's so unrealistic for them to be going to Antarctica, and it's like, yes!
That's the point!
That's the point! And he's like, why Antarctica? Because it's crazy and no one would do it!
It's like, but it's crazy and no one would do it. Like, yes, you get it. You understand.
I mean, Nux is a good guy. I like his I like his sense of humor, but dude, for somebody who's working on a fucking YouTube channel, how can you not understand the concept of like having a dream and wanting to make it happen?
Oh.
Yeah.
And the music. The music is incredible.
It's got the best insert songs.
Yes.
Just the best insert songs.
Period. Of all insert songs.
And there's like a new one every episode.
I know.
And every time I'm like, oh, it's not going to get me this time. It's not going to. Fuck, I'm crying. God damn it. I just want Yuzuki to have friends too.
God, the dream sequence and like and of course the fucking OP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I just did the What's in an OP
You sure
for,
did.
So go watch that.
I just retweeted that.
Thank you.
You're welcome, because like
30,000 people have watched it.
It's a
I'm a little I'm not like, never one to complain about any amount of views, but like oof, the whole thing with that video I made about MMO Junkie has got me in a bad mood.
Yeah, that was crap.
Like hopefully some good will come of it in the long term. Hopefully YouTube will be like, yo, okay, so prevent people from mass flagging this guy's videos, because obviously he's made 200 fucking videos that are fine.
Yeah.
No,
that was a really good video.
Thank you. It was Koro is just being real loud and too far from the microphone, like close enough to the microphone that it picks her up, but far enough from the microphone that I can't get up and grab her. Anyway, sorry, I just like, I knew that video getting delisted was going to cause problems, because like I saw in real time the views drop from like 500 an hour to 500 a minute to 200 a minute in the space of 3 minutes, which if you don't look at your YouTube real-time analytics very often, doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And YouTube's just like totally fucked me on future video uploads. So yeah, and the trouble is I can't take it down, because then
you can't
the
appeal
douchebags win.
Yeah,
because that's what they want. So it's just like, I'll figure it out, Yeah. But anyway, just wanted to venting my frustration. I don't know if that's even
go
gonna
like
make it
Jeff's
into the
MMO
podcast.
Junkie videos. Share them around.
Don't do it.
Go share those if you can watch them, because they're age restricted.
Buy them.
One of them's age restricted.
Give Jeff your life savings.
I appreciate the advertisement, man.
You can use the promo code BASEMENT to put all of your money in Jeff's basement. Takunomi.
Takunomi, that's a 15-minute show.
Oh. So I watched that for no reason.
I like it.
It's like school-age women, right? Like college-age women. Yeah.
They're just drinking and making food and having a good grand old time.
Sounds like a good time.
I don't remember it well enough to talk about it. It's an advertisement for a brand of beer.
Sounds perfect.
No, it's all about how one specific brand of beer like makes this girl tons of friends, and like how she's able to live alone in Tokyo because she drinks this beer with her friends. Because like I watched this with my roommates, and we like saw the brand of beer and we're like, there's no way that's real beer, right? And then we looked it up and was like, oh yeah, okay, this is all just a commercial. Great.
What, Kirin Ichiban?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's delicious. This video is brought to you by Kirin Ichiban.
This video is brought I wish I could get Kirin Ichiban to sponsor
Dude,
me.
And
do you know how much money
dream.
beer ads play? Beer ads pay a lot of money. Let's move on to talking about Toji no Miko, a show that I was surprised wasn't an advertisement for something.
How is this original?
This has the most gacha game adaptation plot I've ever seen. If not gacha, then light novel, right?
Right.
Like, it's you see this thing. It's about these girls who wield swords. It's literally like Girls in Panzer, but they sword fight instead of tanks, and they have to fight demons. And there's like an evil high school student council, and it's like the most fucking light novel and or gacha game storyline I've ever watched. And yet it's a totally original anime. Like, someone had this like super passionate idea for a story, and instead of turning it into a super duper profitable mobile game, he decided, let's make this into the anime adaptation first.
If you have the energy and resources to make an original anime, why would you make it this?
Yeah, and it's not like Studio Gokumi, who made this. They also made Miss Koizumi, and Yuki Yuno was a hero, and Sure Children. So it's not like they're a bad studio.
Yeah,
you know. Like, it's not like they don't have a lot of talent. But this is like, why does this exist?
Yeah.
You know,
who is this for?
It's like that fucking biking anime, the original Sidecar or Two Car.
Oh yeah, Two Car.
It's like,
it's called Two
It's
Car.
like Two Car. That was also an original show, and like
that was original.
Yeah, I'm like 90% sure that was an original.
Surprisingly enough, I think he's right. I was like, this isn't a manga or anything. I was like, no, this is what? This is an original story?
I'm going through last season's chart now.
Yeah, it's an original series.
I will believe that when I see it myself.
So was
Two Car original Studio Silverlink. Jesus Christ, why?
There's one every season, like Convenience Store Boyfriends. That's another one that was like an original.
Well, that was a passion project by the director of Naruto, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he created Naruto so he could finance Convenience Store Boyfriends.
Yeah, I mean, makes as much sense as anything else about that fucking show. Hi, Kuro. Yeah, Convenience Store Boyfriends. Sorry, Toji no Miko. I forgot the show that we were talking about.
God, that would be a crossover.
Hi, Kuro. Yes, you're on the podcast too. Yeah, Toji no Miko is like, fuck.
Girls with swords fight each other.
Here's the thing: there's so many good shows this season that it's like offsetting the bad shows to make me more upset about them than I'd be. Because there's a lot of shows this season that are just nothing. There are very few that are genuinely offensive.
Yeah, like the only really bad shows this season are Rio's Work Is Never Done, Killing Bites. That might be it. Killing Bites Collection is bad, but not bad.
It's not badly executed, it's just bad it is badly executed, but it's not like badly technically made. But yeah, it's just a lot of boring stuff, you know? This season is like boring, and then a few examples of like really, really good television. And our next show, which some would say is boring, and I would say is good boring, Violet Evergarden.
Yeah.
Which is a novel about a lady soldier who retires from the front and becomes a
letter writer,
stenographer.
Yeah. Is that what a stenographer is?
Yeah, she types down other people's thoughts. Except she like writes what they have in their heart, but she's not good at that because she's emotionless.
Yes.
Yeah, Violet Evergarden is really fucking good.
Yeah.
It's a new KyoAni show, based on a novel that was submitted to their light novel contest that then got turned into a light novel by them publishing a second volume of short stories, and now it's a show. Now it's a show. Now it's a really, really beautiful show.
The most technically impressive TV anime production of all time, according to Pedro.
According to Pedro?
Yeah.
I mean,
Pedro would know.
I don't know if I don't know if I would go that far. Pedro would know, but that's like a really high bar.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that Sorayori is on the same level in terms of like lighting detail in the environments and shit like that.
I mean, I always forget the name of the area of the city they were in. You know it, Jeff. But the very impressive scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the time lapse scene or the
one with the chase scene.
Oh yeah, in Kabukicho.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
All of Violet Evergarden looks like that.
Yeah, Violet Evergarden is pretty consistent with its quality. I will give it that. I don't know. I'm impressed by it.
Well, yeah. But like just the scene where Violet in the third episode is like looking off the top of some building and just the wind blowing her hair around. Like, how do you even animate that?
I mean, yeah, it's you can get away with animating somebody's hair blowing around by just literally drawing random strands, you know?
Yeah.
It does look really good. I will say that this is like film quality animation for 14 episodes, which is really fucking impressive. I don't know if I'd say it's the most technically impressive anime on TV of all time, because that's like a really high bar.
Yeah.
And we're not even going into like the subject of like the most technically impressive
for its time
cell animated shows.
Yeah.
Like you know, if you're going into that, there was more effort, more money, and more time that had to go into producing cell animation back in the day. Like digital animation saves time, so like I don't know, to a certain extent I think that like actual hand-drawn animation ends up having a bit of a boost in how technically impressive it is when it's done really well. And to say that in the entire history of anime that there has never been something on the same level as this, when in this season there are things that are at least really close. And I would say that A Place Further Than the Universe surpasses Violet Evergarden when it goes for its full Sakuga moments. When it's not, you know, it's a more quiet girls sitting around a table talking show. But like I want to clarify, I'm not saying this show doesn't look fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I'm literally I'm just saying I don't think it's literally the most technically impressive and best produced TV anime of all time.
I mean, the only reason I'm willing to paraphrase that quote from somebody else is because of the consistency in Violet Evergarden. Like, I'll give you that Place Further Than the Universe might do better than Violet Evergarden for like specific scenes, but like I said, all of Violet Evergarden looks the way that Violet Evergarden does.
Yeah, that's true. It never drops quality, which is, you know, it makes it feel more cinematic and more impressive overall. It's got probably the most intricate line work of any TV anime I've seen in at least recent years. But like, man, that's a really, really high bar. Like, how do you quantify that? Like,
right.
We're like looking back across all time, there's like really impressive TV productions like Now and Then, Here and There, which also has very consistent quality and basically looks like a film stretched out into 12 episodes. I'm only taking issue with the of all time part. It's definitely very technically impressive,
right,
and more consistent than any other TV anime.
And like, obviously I don't have the experience to personally claim that it's the best TV anime production of all time or the most technically impressive.
You just bring in that page.
I'm bringing that up because it definitely deserves very high praise for just how pretty it is.
We'll have to do a Violet Evergarden cast and just bring him back in to actually state his case. Because it's a little, a little hard to, argue against him when he's not here.
Right.
I will say, other than that, though, like, I really like the story and underlying themes of Violet Evergarden a lot. It's, like, very cute, and I like the mix of fantasy and drama and slice of life. storytelling.
Plus, I just love the whole Victorian era aesthetic in general.
Victorian steampunk is my brand. And this is the best that brand has looked on TV in a while.
Yeah, I keep forgetting it's steampunk, but yeah, it is. I mean,
And
robot hands.
Robot hands.
Hands.
Armor robot hands.
Yeah.
That's the distinction. The automail. Automail is what it is. Really good looking automail.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, good looking everything that goes without saying.
Yeah. It's just it is a gorgeous show. That said, unless anybody else has something to say about it, we're going to move on to the last show of the season. John, what are your thoughts on Violet Evergarden, just before we move on?
My thoughts on what?
Violet Evergarden.
Oh, okay. I think it's really... I think it's a really good show. I think it's pretty phenomenally done. I feel like it's one of those where I'm gonna have to watch the whole thing before I form a clear and concise opinion on it. Like,
well, luckily it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I know. It's great. It's awesome. But yeah, it's one of those. I think it's got to percolate. It's got to percolate in my brain before I actually say anything about it. Looks gorgeous though.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, at least about the plot. Just I got to give it more thought because it is really good. But yeah, I see what you mean about it being like something you have to put a lot of thought towards to really nail down your opinions of it. All right, last show of this podcast and of the season, as far as new shows go, is Yuru Camp Delta. I mean, I think it's Yuru Camp Delta. It's got a triangle.
It's a tent.
In its
I
title.
think it's a tent.
Yeah, but it's
like,
a triangle.
Yeah, I mean, I called it Yuru Camp Delta for like the first 2 episodes, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. That's far too badass a name for this show.
Yeah. You go. You describe it.
There's not much to describe. I mean, the show starts with this loner girl going camping in the winter because she likes it. She meets this girl sleeping on a park bench because she just moved to the area and wanted to go see Mount Fuji. They wind up camping together, and the pink-haired girl, Nadeshko, the girl that the loner girl meets, decides that she loves camping, so she joins/starts the outdoor activities club at her school. And it's just this really nice show about cute girls camping, and it's comfy, and it's great, and it gives you, like, tips for how to go camping, like, in the middle and end of every episode. It's awesome.
Which is very useful.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, a lot of the content of the plot of each episode is also a guide on how to camp. Yeah, it's...
And it has the best ending song of the season.
It's got one of the best opening songs, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's the best ending song.
I'll say it's the best ending song.
I'm not gonna fight you on that. I really like the Soriori ED a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
But yeah, Yuru Camp has such a fucking imaginative and cool OP. And it's just a good, fun, cutesy show.
Feel good. Like, it doesn't have the drama of A Place Further Than the Universe.
No,
it's just
not a plot-driven show.
Yeah, it's very laid back, slow paced. Just enjoy watching these girls like have fun sitting around telling stories by a campfire.
Yeah, it's a
look at how pretty Mount Fuji is.
It is a sit and watch it and enjoy it, laid back.
I mean, laid back camp. It's the name of the show.
Laid back camp. And it's there's a lot of like laid back moe shows. Some people have said that Soriori shouldn't be qualified as or shouldn't be like categorized as a moe show. I like kind of agree.
Yeah, same.
I kind of don't. It's
like,
in
a weird place.
Yeah, it's a moe. I would say it's a moe show with like a coming of age story grafted onto it. But that said, this season, aside from battle royales, the thing this season has the most of probably is just like cute people hanging around doing cute shit shows.
Yeah. It's a great season for people who hate plot.
Yeah, and Yuru Camp is almost at the top of that, right under, I would say, Violet Evergarden. Although that also has a bit more plot going on. It's still very slice of life, you know? So I'd say it goes, the tier list of those types of shows goes Violet Evergarden, Yuru Camp, Sanrio Danchi, and or Miss Koizumi Loves Ramen Noodles.
Really? You're putting both of those above Hakume to Mikochi?
Oh God, yeah, no. I totally forgot
and
Hakume to
Takagi-san?
Mikochi. Yeah, Hakume to, I was just going up the list. Sorry. Yeah, okay, so let me restate my tier list. Violet Evergarden, Takagi-san, Hakume to Mikochi. I completely blanked on those ones while I was scrolling through. Then Yuru Camp, and those are the good ones. And then after that, I would say Sanrio Danchi, Ramen Noodles. Ramen Noodles I'd put above Sanrio Danchi. Then Slow Start after that. Mitsuboshi Colors.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I'd put Slow Start at the very bottom. Mitsuboshi Colors and
then Darling in the Franxx.
There's so many of these fucking shows for real. I guess you could also call Death March a slice of life.
That's a weird name for a slice of life show.
It really is.
I don't know.
I don't make the rules, though.
Yep.
I just enforce them. But yeah. Yuru Camp is good. I wouldn't say it's like anything particularly special. It's just like really good, enjoyable moe done very well.
Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying there. It doesn't have much that makes it stand out except for its quality.
And yeah, it's got cute girls, and it's like the perfect show to watch while you're falling asleep.
Yeah.
That's about it. Did you enjoy or watch it, John?
I liked the first episode. I was gonna kind of wait on it. That's another one of those shows where I feel like I just need to watch all of it at once. It's like it's a cozy watch.
Yeah, I guess if you're not watching it before you go to bed, you could absolutely just like flick it on and do like a under the heated blanket marathon one day.
Like a Mushishi type show.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that too. Need to watch that.
What, Mushishi? Oh God,
Mushishi.
that's the perfect go to bed, turn on 2 episodes of that, and just fall the fuck asleep. I get like PTSD. Well, not PTSD. It's like Pavlovian response anytime I hear the. I want to see you. I hear that and I'm just like.
I do the Hallway Chats podcast with Maname Matt, and he like constantly complains that Ancient Magus Bride isn't Mushishi.
I kind of see that. Now.
I can appreciate that complaint.
Yeah.
I like it. I like Yuru Camp.
I also like Yuru Camp.
Yeah, I'm not going to shout it from the rooftops that people should watch it. On that note, though, we should talk about the 3 shows this season that each of us would shout from the rooftops and tell everybody to fucking watch.
Are we going to talk about Devilman Crybaby?
No, we had a separate podcast for that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because that's like under the ONA banner. And if we were including ONAs in this,
we'd have to talk about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, Ico Incarnation's like just coming up in March, so would we wait for the Weebcast to be there? It just made sense to
make it its own thing.
Yeah, exactly. So out of this season, John, you go first. What shows would you say are your top 3?
My top 3. Let's see. I'd have to say Darling in the Franxx.
Mm-hmm.
Darling in the Franxx. God, it's difficult. It's difficult. Kokoku. I definitely have to say watch Kokoku. So you can get your hands on that. Darling in the Franxx, Kokoku, and that third spot. It's difficult. Oh no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not a full series, but Michiru Neko. Michiru Neko, the cat parade. They made a show out of it, and it's just a little short series. It's just fucking adorable. It brings me happiness in life.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't talk about that on the podcast, so technically it's not allowed. But whatever, you're allowed to.
Well, if it's a full series, then probably Pop Team Epic. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good choices, especially that last one. Bryant.
I'm gonna throw a rock at your house.
I'm gonna throw it.
For my top 3 this season, I'm gonna go with Dame X Prince, Recreators, and Killing Bites. All right, for my actual top 3 this season, we'll go with Place Further Than the Universe, Takagi-san, and After the Rain.
Takagi-san, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Takagi-san's definitely one I would toss out there too. Okay, so for me, for me, I would say that my picks are, oh gosh. I mean, I know Sorayori is at the top of that. Place Further Than the Universe is at the very top of my picks for the season. But then it gets hard because there's a lot of good stuff. So I'm going to say Hakume and Mikochi because neither of you said it.
Yeah.
And then it gets hard again. Why is it so difficult to just pick something? Violet Evergarden. Yeah, I'd say Violet Evergarden. Those would be the 3. So Violet Evergarden, Sorayori, and Hakume to Mikochi. That's my picks. I might pick slightly different things if you guys hadn't talked about them already, like Darling in the Franxx.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we covered all of the good stuff. And yeah, that's a podcast.
We get it.
Is there anything else that you want to add, like stuff that you think people should really stay away from, or any other thoughts that you have on the season in general?
I mean, if my thoughts weren't clear enough on Rio's work is never done, kill it with fire.
Kill it with fire. And John, is there anything that you wish just didn't fucking exist?
Stay away from Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I second that.
The whole state.
Yeah.
The whole state. Just throw it away.
He's from the good part of the state, too.
Actually, this is the spoiler that I've been waiting for the end of the episode to say. I'm not actually from Kentucky. I'm from Southern Indiana, fuckers. See you later. Bye.
Oh, no, Jesus.
Fuck all y'all.
Plot twist. Oh, shit. All right. At any rate, thank you for tuning in to the seasonal Weebcast. It was a fun discussion. Thank you to both Bryant and John for coming out.
All the way from Kentucky.
You can find them if you're interested in hearing more of their opinions on anime. You can find them on YouTube as Explanation Point. That's explanation, like I'm explaining this to you right now, not exclamation, like ah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So Explanation Point on YouTube, and
link in the
BaronJ,
description.
all one word. Yeah, links in the description and all of that. Go check out their stuff. They both make pretty fantastic YouTube videos. And
don't
BaronJ
fucking lie to me. Don't fucking lie to me. My videos are ass.
But BaronJ is a very talented voice actor and sound engineer. So if you guys are looking for somebody who can do that, He is your guy.
Yeah, I mean,
he's the guy.
He's the only reason I'm not still using my tablet microphone to record my videos. So
yeah,
my videos still sound kind of bad, but that's on me.
We're working on it. We're working on it, buddy.
He's giving you all the tools. You just
I'm just bad with them.
All right. But yeah, go check out Explanation Point and BaronJ, and don't forget to check out my main channel, Mother's Basement, if you're not familiar with it already. I'm pretty sure I forgot to introduce myself at the start of this podcast.
Everyone knows who you are.
Professionalism. Yeah, everybody knows who I am. Thanks.
Mother's Basement? I thought we were on a podcast with Demolition D. I'm confused. I'm scared.
Why are we in your mother's basement?
Yeah, so check out Mother's Basement, my YouTube channel. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/mothersbasement. And if you want to watch many of the shows that we talked about, go to crunchyroll.com/basement for a 14-day free trial of Crunchyroll Premium, the internet's premier anime streaming and also Japanese dramas, and they have manga too service. They're pretty good. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, everybody. I'm Jeff through Professional Shitbag. You guys have to say who you are.
I'm Bryant Powell. I do the Explanation Point funny pictures, black backgrounds thing.
And I'm BaronJ. I have a voice that people like to listen to, and I make memes for the internet, basically.
And we're all signing out from our mom's basements.
I have an apartment.
I was gonna say
I do too.
I live with my girlfriend, so I mean, technically we're on the roof of a building, so we're like the opposite of the basement.
You're the mom and dad.
Yeah.
All right.
I am your mother, Jeff. Get back to
and
work.
on that bombshell. Weebcast.